Are you so bored at work? Is it time for a change? Not sure if it is? Kind of confused? Keep watching. Hi, and welcome back to Ask Dr. Saira, the show where I answer your burning questions about personal growth, spiritual development, and mental health. Here we go. Today's question is about careers and change. It comes to us from Tony, and he says, Dear Dr. Saira, I have been in the same career for a decade, and I think it's time for a change. How do I know if it's the right time? I've been in the same career for a decade, and I think it's time for change. How do I know if it's the right time? Good question. I mean, how do we know it's the right time for anything, right? We kind of don't. We kind of don't. My business coach and I have been working a lot on impulse and instinct, right? And so actually the dog whisperer, Cesar Millan, he talks about instinct, right? And how like when you follow your gut, when you follow your instinct, it usually leads you to the right spot for your health and well-being. And so if you tune into your gut, like what's your gut telling you? Now, some people ask me like, okay, but how do you know the difference between if it's your gut or your scaredy pants self? Like, how do you know if it's just your fear talking or it's actually your instinct and your intuition? This is how. Your gut, your instinct, your intuition will be soft, persistent, and kind. So the voice will be something like, Tony, it's time to stop. There's better things out there for you. It's enough of this now. It's time to move on. That's what your intuition, your gut feeling, your instinct will sound like in your head. What the other part of us sounds like, what our ego sounds like is, oh my God, I hate this job. Everyone here is just pissing me off and I just want to get out of here. And what's wrong with this place? I deserve better. I don't deserve to be treated this way. I'm sure I can find something better out there. What is this? That's what the voice of the ego sounds like. So when you're determining if it's the right time for something, and if this is the voice, right? If it's that kind of angry, pissed off, or the other one, some of us have that voice and some of us have like, oh, it's just so hard to change jobs. You know, I went to school for this and I don't have the time to retrain myself. And I mean, it's not that bad. The benefits are pretty good. The victim voice, right? So we can have kind of the like meh, meh, meh voice or the voice. Both of those are aspects of our personality. They're not our higher self. They're not our true self. They're not our gut feeling. They're just aspects of our personality. All of us have different aspects. Carl Jung called it archetypes, right? So these different archetypes that we carry around, and we see the world through these lenses at certain times and in certain stages of our lives. And so the victim archetype is something that all of us have. We all carry it, where the world is doing something to me and for me. That's not what your intuition sounds like. Your intuition is encouraging, it's supportive, it's saying, okay, Tony, you can do this, let's do this, right? So that's how you know if it's the right time. Nothing on the outside of you is going to tell you it's the right time. As I mentioned, my business coach and I have been talking about intuition and instinct and how, what if that's all the validation that you need? Is your own deep inner wisdom, your own deep inner validation. So many of us are looking around us to get someone to do, like, tell us what we're doing is okay. I mean, me too, right? I ask my husband, I'm like, am I doing this right? Am I, right? But we do, it's a human nature to do that, but it slows you down, right? It's much faster and much more fulfilling in your life to be able to say, this is what feels right as my next step. And then you take that step. And then this is what feels right as my next step. Now, if you're leaving behind you a trail of broken relationships and unhappy people, then maybe you want to reevaluate, these steps. Some of that might be because you're forming boundaries and you're kind of in a new space. But if you're consistently and constantly hurting other people and harming other people with your choices, then that's something to maybe get an outside perspective on. It's like, maybe I'm a little off track here, right? So there's complexity to it as well. But the bottom line is, how do you know it's time? You listen to yourself. You listen to that deep inner knowing in yourself. Another thing to think about, so one of the things I've learned is that just because you get an idea doesn't mean you have to execute now. It took me a long time to learn that. Just because I get a good idea doesn't mean I have to execute it now. So sometimes you get a really good idea and then it's an idea that's going to take some time, right? It's like a plant. You get the seed, like, oh, the seed, and now you got to plant it. Now you got to wait for the roots to go down. Now you got to wait for the season to be right for it to emerge, and then you got to, right? So it's like, I want to plant, but if we're starting with the seed, it's going to take time, and you can't just like take the seed and like, look at my plant. It doesn't work that way. Some ideas need that time to percolate and to kind of like work in the unconscious, in the collective, so that they're ready to bloom at the right time. So that's something to check in with yourself on. Is this the right timing? Like, is there a fullness here where I'm ready to take the next step, or am I doing this because I'm coming from a place of lack? If my job is not making me happy, then why not? Is it the content of the work? Is it the workplace? Is it the people I'm engaged with? Is it my schedule being controlled by someone else? Is it the salary? What is it? What does it? Get clear about what is it about this particular job? Because I also see a lot of people, oh my goodness, more than I can count, who change jobs or careers with a lot of enthusiasm and happiness and expectation of something new. And within 6 to 9 months, they're right back in the same grumpy mood that they were in when they ended their job. Because the job wasn't the problem, right? The mood, the inner space, the attitude, the perspective, that's what needs to change. And then your job might change or not, right? So if you start with that change before you take the step of quitting, start with that internal change. What can I find at the job that I'm currently at that can bring a sense of happiness? I might not be here for much longer, right? Have you ever had that experience where you know you're quitting and so it's like, you don't mind doing the extra stuff because you're like, I'm only here for another 2 weeks. Okay with me, right? So what if you had that mindset that like, I could walk away whenever I want, and I may, but let me make the most of what's in front of me right now. So those are my thoughts about how to know. I mean, the bottom line, the final answer is only you can know. And even things that don't seem like a good idea to other people might be the perfect thing for you. So don't let all of those other voices out there dictate your decisions and choices. It does help sometimes to have a mentor. Like I had my business coach, right? To kind of like another set of eyes to watch what I'm doing. And it's not a family member or friend because they're too invested and they see like my historical failures and they'll remind me of all those failures. And so that's not helpful. So I have a mentor who's outside my world, who's able to look in and give me some of that guidance. So that's what I would say to you, Tony. Hopefully that was helpful. If you, my viewers, have any questions that are burning that you'd love for me to answer, send me a note, dragonflywellnesscenter.ca, look up Academy and join us. Talk to you soon.